It seems like a lot of these pills are coming from a handful of pill mills in Scioto counties. Why is it so difficult to prosecute these?
Okay, I'm going to bring up, we have 3 prosecutors here who now have stolen and work for me. So we're going to put all 3 of them up here and they can answer the question.
Mike, before we do that, can we introduce my esteemed colleague over here?
Oh.
He just returned from the Health Committee. This is State Representative Terry Johnson from Scioto County. Terry was testifying earlier this morning over in the State House on House Bill 93, which is a concerted effort to get legislation there that's going to help the Attorney General, Aaron Haslam, and all these prosecutors in enforcing the law and putting an end to this epidemic in Ohio.
You 3 want to answer the question?
Sure. The question is, why is it so difficult to shut down a pill mill?
Jeff Wellbaum.
I was going to say your name.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Wellbaum. I'm the Section Chief of the Criminal Justice Section. We have doctors that are not following the guidelines. It's very difficult to prosecute doctors. Doctors, to a certain extent, have a license to prescribe pills. So it's a matter of getting proof that they're not following the guidelines. This is very difficult to do because you have the patient-physician relationship that's confidential. The records are not as available as they would be in like a business transaction. So you have a lot of hurdles. It's a very time-consuming type of a case because it's a lot of paperwork, involves undercover work, and it's very time-consuming and very difficult to do. They're not easy cases. That's the bottom line.
You've prosecuted.
I've prosecuted them. I've handled them as a judge, and they're very difficult.
Jeff was prosecuting attorney in Miami County, common pleas judge in Miami County.
Right.
Who else has a question?
Attorney General, obviously this does, as you said, affect all areas of the state, but clearly it affects the rural areas, Appalachian Ohio particularly. It isn't your area, but is there anything you can do to work on the social issues that are related to this? Because clearly it's poverty, it's a lot of other causes. Is there anything that, I know you're law enforcement, but is there ODATAS or any other agencies or anything you can work with?
We asked ODATAS to be here, but the director had another conflict, I think with the governor, so we understand how that works. But we have to take a holistic approach as a society. And treatment is important. Education is important. In fact, Alan, as we were putting this together, this program together, Ann O'Donnell and my team said, what are we doing about treatment? What are we doing? And I guess my answer is, we're taking a piece of this. We're taking the law enforcement piece, with educating law enforcement and going after it from that law enforcement perspective. But we are very much aware that we need to have legislation passed. We're also very much aware that we need education and that we need treatment. The key to education with drugs, you always have to be very, very careful, is that you have to have some fact-based study to indicate what works and what doesn't work. There's been more damage done by education that doesn't work, and sometimes is frankly counterproductive. So that's not my expertise. But I would simply say, as the Attorney General of this state, we need that. We need education. We need it done in the right way by the experts, and we need treatment. And I know this is something ODATAS is very interested in, and I know the governor is very interested in this. The governor called me during the campaign, and then after he was elected, before he took office, and that's what he wanted to talk about. He didn't want to talk about baseball or anything else. He wanted to talk about that. And so I know it's on the governor's mind, and I know that the Kasich administration is going to be coming up with plans. Betty Montgomery has been asked by the governor to be is point person on this, and I'm sure call Betty, she'll have some comments.
Okay.
Sir, can I add on to that?
Sure.
Come on. Thank you. My name is Terry Johnson. I'm the state representative of the 89th District. And a lot of people consider us ground zero for this problem in Ohio. We have just given sponsor testimony on House Bill 93. Representative Burke and I are jointly sponsoring that. Representative Bupp, over here to my left, has been a major driver in this because of the implications in his home county. The Attorney General said it right when he said that there's no silver bullet to this problem. Legislation alone won't solve the problem. Prosecuting the cases, coming at it from a law enforcement standpoint, alone won't solve the problems. This is what we realized in Southern Ohio. We realized we had to come together as a community and as a team. And these ladies right over here are the heartbeat of our community team. I would like to see organizations like this spread across Ohio and then have communities rally around them. In Southern Ohio, we have clergymen, we have teachers, we have judges, we have law enforcement, we have concerned citizens from every walk of life rallying around these ladies who have lost loved ones to the problem. There is no silver bullet. Our legislation is intended to enable them. On the other hand, as we introduce the legislation, what we want to make sure we do is reassess after we implement it and see if it's working. If it's not working, we need to back up, tweak it, fix it. We may need to do some follow-on. But we can't just fire and forget and move on to the next problem.
Attorney General, Paul Teasley from Hannah News. Do you, from a holistic standpoint, do you specifically support the idea of diverting more low-level, nonviolent drug abusers from incarceration into some sort of treatment, which has been discussed now for a couple of years?
You're not old enough to remember this, but and that's a compliment. But you know, when I was Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Johnson, he's old enough to remember it.
Yes, I am.
But we worked on this when I was Lieutenant Governor with Governor Voinovich. I think the key, it's easy to say, it's harder to do and do it accurately, but the key to law enforcement and incarceration is to make sure the dangerous offenders who are really going to cause harm to society are locked up, and to try to figure out what to do with the rest of them. It's easy to say, but I think that is the driving force. So, you know, without talking about any specific plan, that's always what we should be trying to do. We should, you know, I wrote legislation for drug courts when I was in the United States Congress. You know, when I wrote that legislation, we had a handful of drug courts in this country. Today, not just because of my legislation, but today we have hundreds of drug courts in this country. So I believe in trying to you know, make the punishment fit the crime, and also trying to deal with what we would refer to as low-level offenders. The truth is that the people who are consuming these drugs can be dangerous to other people, as some of the examples I gave. They can commit murders, they can commit all kinds of crime. In most cases, they're probably most dangerous to themselves, and they overdose and they die. Just shocking numbers. So, yeah, we have to have a holistic approach, and it has to be a rational approach.
Mr. Attorney General, I don't think I'm too far off the mark on this, but I think America takes more